Business Standard recently reported that the government is mulling making permanent account number or PAN as the single identifier for businesses. The decision is likely to be announced in the upcoming union budget. The government is also planning to give it statutory backing by amending the Finance Act. In 2019, India was ranked 62nd among 190 countries in ease of doing business by the World Bank. In June 2022, the country was ranked 37th in World Competitiveness Ranking by IMD Business School, Switzerland. Clearly, there is a long way to go.
Using PAN as a single data point for a national single window system clearance, it's a very thoughtful initiative of government, which is going to certainly increase or enhance the ranking of India in terms of doing business. Okay, in terms of linking the PAN, the multiple registration will be tracked and used by this particular PAN system.
This move by the government is based on a report by a working group under the Finance Ministry. The group in its report had suggested that making PAN the single identifier will ease compliance burden and optimize business operations. It also said that with a single ID, data sharing among various government agencies and departments will be enhanced as well.
When I look at the burden of compliance, I don't think the compliance requirements will go down. So whatever are the compliance requirements under different legislation which are there, I think they will continue. The only thing that will make it simpler is that the compliance process will be easier in terms of taking registrations for different, type of compliances which need to be done. If you need a separate registration, then those will become easier.
India is known for its startup industry. As of August 2022, there were 77,000 startups in the country. Among these startups, 100 are unicorns. A unicorn is a startup which is valued at $1 billion or more. Of these 100 unicorns, India produced more than half of them, 58 to be precise, since the beginning of 2021. India is ranked third among countries with the largest number of unicorns. While this sounds good, India is far behind its competitors, China and USA. While China has more than double the number of unicorns in India, the USA has a whopping 8 times more. The decision to integrate PAN into a single identifier is also aimed at streamlining the process of starting a business.
So what happens today is that when I am looking at doing any business, there are different registrations. There are almost around 20 registrations which one needs to take. You have to take your GST registration separately, your tax deduction registration separately, your permanent account number separately. So once you have one number which is an identifier number, then you don't really need to take separate registrations. Your one number will cover all those registrations put together. So that is how it would help in making it more easy.
As of now, there are about 20 different types of identifiers for a business. These identifiers include GSTN, Taxpayer Identification Number, Corporate Identification Number, Employees Provident Fund Organization, and Tax Deduction Account Number. The reason for choosing PAN as the base identifier was because of its wide acceptability, relevance, and comprehensive coverage. However, this move may prove to be troublesome for unit-level entities as PAN may not cover them.
The absolute micro businesses which are owned by proprietors, really we could double the normal PAN card for the PAN card which is now being envisaged. So it is redundant to have a special dispensation for them because they already have it. People are still a little skeptical about making sure that their personalized data does not get into the wrong hands. But in any case, if you become a taxpayer or you're about to become a taxpayer, then you need to have a PAN card anyway. So you would then be able to multi-use the PAN card which you already have.
At present, Know Your Customer or KYC for corporates requires multiple documents. These documents range from corporate identity number, memorandum and articles of association to proof of addresses and business commencement certificates. The move to integrate all of these documents and more into PAN is aimed at reducing the number of filings for KYC. The idea is to reduce duplication of data, provide uniform ground for identification and regulatory approvals, and reduce paperwork.
With this, multiple KYC is prevailing everywhere. So if you have to take a registration with GST, you have to provide the same documentation. If you have to go to the bank, you have to provide all your PAN, Aadhaar, everything. So for each and every department at the time of registration, you are required to provide the similar sort of documentation. So this is a repetition and duplication in terms of efforts, in terms of paperwork, etc. At the time of registration with the MCA for company registration, now they have introduced this concept called Agile Pro. So if you have provided information, obtain the PAN number, your GST, your bank account, everything will be obtained automatically. So this kind of system is very much, I think it's a very welcome move by the government, and it will definitely reduce the compliance burden and ease of doing business.
The PAN card integration is also envisioned to leverage the National Single Window System, or NSWS. The government came up with NSWS as a digital platform that eases seeking regulatory approvals. Approvals from about 26 central government departments are hosted on the platforms which businesses can check and apply for. Further, about 19 state governments have also listed their approvals on NSWS. It is expected that using PAN as a single ID will further facilitate the process of receiving approvals from NSWS and at the same time increase its usage. So, how will it be done?
On the top of the identity layer, you can layer a service layer. You can layer e-governance. You can provide all access to government services. If you want a business to go through all its multiple permissions which it needs to get started, you could do it based on the PAN card, which then becomes your identity. So it's very important to first make the statement, establish an identity, then make it transferable, interoperable, and therefore the national service will become accessible to a large number of businesses and people in India.
The decision by the government to integrate PAN into a single identity for businesses will decrease the occurrences of duplication of data. This will be achieved by doing away with the need for multiple KYC and easing compliance requirements. It is expected to improve ease of doing business. However, for proprietor-owned businesses, it may be a hassle since they already use PAN for majority of their compliance and approvals. It remains to be seen what operational guidelines and procedures the government comes up with in its last budget before the general elections of 2024.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.